This video will give a brief overview to the WIDS Cleanup Initiative. This is something that we can work on together as a faculty body and as an institution to kind of clean up our WIDS site. And it's through no one's fault, but we are finding that there are duplicate course files, program files, things like that. We're thinking that a lot of times it happened because certain faculty may have retired or have left, and then suddenly a new file gets created with different users, different faculty members on that other existing course file. So it's really hard to see these unless you're searching for them. So the what and why is that we really want to clean up WIDS. We want to eliminate these duplicate course files and only have one active working file. By doing this, our imports from the repository will come through more cleanly. So it is very important to do. It's something we are doing before the import, but if faculty can take a little bit of initiative to help clean that up for us as well, it'll make things go much more smoothly. So in order to find duplicate course files, it's often very difficult for us to see because we usually just go here when it comes to looking at our course files and going into course files. We look at our dashboard. So we look at our curriculum projects that we're already assigned to, or we look at our previous syllabi, and we don't deviate from the screen very often. But as the WIDS cleanup shows you, we want to search for your course files by name and by course number because that's often how you can find these duplicates. So in the example of this first one, interpersonal communication, 2 duplicate course files were found just by typing in one part of the course name. Sometimes they're named a little bit differently, but these are both active files. In addition, these courses were practically identical by name, but it was by course number that they were different. So this developmental psychology had the aid code with the course number being shown here, but not here. So by searching both with the course name and the course number, you can go all through the courses that you oversee, that you're the lead on, that are within your program, and even do this with the program file itself and see if you can identify any of those duplicates. So we're going to look for that oral interpersonal communication right here, and these are the 2 duplicate files. And we would have to investigate a little bit to see which one is no longer relevant, which one should be. What we do with it is called expire the file. So we expire it so that you will no longer see the duplicate version of it. It will still be able to be unexpired, which means that it's not fully deleted. We can undo that if something needed to be taken off of the file, but we as site administrators will expire it so that it won't show up in this search anymore, and there will be only one active file, which will really help when this Gen Ed course has an import from the repository. It will help it to pick the right file to update. Right now, that repository would be unsure as to which one to pick, and you could get some duplicate things happening in this course file. So we double click on the file, and this is pretty important. If you do not have this designer tab, you will not be able to finish the cleanup process for WIDS. But here are some investigative ways in which we look at which is the correct course file. We look at the course history and when it was last either approved or revised, and this is pretty recent for the active date, for the revision date. It was done by me, however, so that tells us something. We also navigate to the project management area of the file, and anybody can see this to kind of help identify which course file do we want to keep. Again, we can look at some history here for the course itself, and that shows you that I was making those revisions. And we can look at the project users and look, there are no instructors, there are no developers on this course. So my instinct says this is the one that we want to delete. This is the one that should be additional. In order to do that, we have to go to the designer tab. This is the last step of the process, and this will help us to clean it up. In that course title, Only developers who have this designer access will be able to click inside this field and add the word expire or delete or retire. We can add any of those things. But simply by adding one of those terminologies to the course file, now Nick Minogue and I will very quickly and easily be able to tell which one needs to be expired so that we no longer have the two active files. The status of this course file will change, and then the repository will no longer have issues with it. So that is the what, right? The why of how we do it, or the why of what we're doing it for, and then the how by naming that course file and having it set to retire or expire or what have you. So yes, we appreciate your help with this cleanup initiative through WIDS.